uses, but would also allow, as probably a special use, some kind of cultural facility that would have the kinds of uses that Estonian House has. So we're not reviewing any specific proposals of the applicants or the petitioners at the next Plan Commission meeting. We're just going to be reviewing the proposed text amendments to see what suggestions and other concerns the Plan Commission has about those.
We had a road traffic go up today that comes here. Something was up there. Thank you so much for risking life and limb. And we counted in Riverwoods 16 to 19 deer ago.
Yeah, we counted in the village 16 to 19 deer in the forest preserve that's west of the southwest corner of the village. We counted 9 deer, and in Potawatomi Woods, that's the forest preserve that's south of Lake Cook Road. We counted 26 deer. Lake County, they counted part of the village as, they include part of our village as buffer to the Ryerson Preservation District. And they counted on 2 days last week, the 11th and 12th. They counted 23 in the village, 23 on the 11th, 48 on the 12th. And in that Forest Preserve District that I just mentioned, west of the southwest corner of the village, they counted 20 and 21 deer. One of the difficulties, it's a little unfortunate that the weather's been so warm, and today was a sunny day, making counting somewhat difficult. We're hoping that tomorrow there's overcast and we'll have we'll count one more time this season.
The plan is to count after a snowfall.
Well, that's the most desirable, you're right. You're right.
Chuck,
What's that?
your count?
What's that? Oh, I'm sorry, I was thinking about something else. Let's back up a little bit about the weather. The time to look for the deer is when there's snow on the ground. And I thought I didn't go up today. Kirsten and Todd went with Rich. One of the things I like about today, the snow was off the trees. The snow was on the ground. What happens when the snow will start to compress and melt, but when the deer bed down, they kind of compress the snow to generate a lot of heat, and basically you can see the ground if there's no animal there. And what Todd told me today was that they saw a lot of deer beds. They saw a lot of places where the deer have been kicking around looking for something to eat. And I know it was said, mentioned that Rich had some concerns about the shadows and that sort of thing. My opinion of it is that for me, it's easier with the shadows because it helps you see the outline of the deer. But I think it comes with what you're used to and with looking at it. And there was a lot of glare. I think the thing today with the bright sun would have been the glare for me. But when the deer, I think Todd said that they seen just a couple deer that were moving. The rest of them were pretty much all bedded down.
They were bedded down, yeah, so they cast no shadow.
Yeah, just you could see their head, and that was about it. And basically what they do is they fly transects, and they'll fly the pattern back and forth, and the pilot, the helicopter tracks that on the screen there, so they know where they're progressing across. And they verify, the deer that they see, and it's just what's there. I mean, you get what you get, and some days there's more, and some days there's probably less, and they're relatively low. And I done a quick summary when I got the information and stuff today. What we had done in the 90s, we had done deer surveys for the village from 1995 through 2000. We'd also done some for Frank Drummond, who was the wildlife biologist for the Forest Preserve District in those days. So what Kirsten had done with that data is she just plotted it. You really can't see this, but she plotted all the different data and where they were. And we recorded, like Richard said, we recorded the village, we recorded this Lake County piece south of us, Potawatomi Woods and Ryerson Woods. We categorized this area as a Riverwoods area deer herd. In other words, we looked at just beyond, we wanted to count beyond the village limits in certain cases because of the potential for migration and stuff, just to give a handle on it. So I took the the information that we had from previous times and from the years 1995 through 2000, the average, the high was in the Village of Riverwood was 66 in 2000. It was 68 in 1995 and 66 in 2000. It went up and down in between there. With a 4 square mile area, that was an average of 54. It was a total of 54 deer with an average of 13.5. And I was going through these numbers and I said, where do we get the 0.5 deer? So I was talking to Todd, and when we did, because you see, we had a resident go up to things, and it was one of the residents, and Todd had counted 2 different levels of deer, so the resolution to it was they counted a half. So at any rate, it kind of gives you your magnitude. It's kind of interesting. And then I took the three surveys that was done, which had done previously in January 4 of 08, January 15 of 09, and 16 of 09, and the average of those lives was 57. So over the last 10 years, based on those things, the averages were kind of consistently that way, which worked out to 14.25 square mile. I also noted that in March of 1995 was the one time that I'm aware of that the village called the deer. And in that, we called 20 deer on that. So that would have been based on the 68 count. I think the numbers everybody thought they were pretty low when we looked at today, but they are what they are. So we're going to do it. They're going to do it again tomorrow and see how it goes. But I think
I didn't hear your numbers today.
well, we had they didn't have your sheet, Rich.
No, that's right.
Yes. So what I had for a number was like 16 in the village. So you had.
Right.
Good.
I said 16, Todd's number was 16. When I counted what I had marked on the village map, it was 19, but I was home already, so I didn't have a chance to talk with Todd
Okay.
about it.
Maybe if you give me a copy of that, we can readjust it.
I have a question.
Okay. Well, and when you finish, I assume we'll
We're gonna go up
get
against
something in
one.
writing?
They're planning on
Oh
going.
yeah, we'll do a report and all that stuff and
Great.
that sort of thing.
So this just happened today.
I know,
And they're planning on going
that's
up
why I
against
said
tomorrow.
when you're finished.
Yeah, we'll do a report.
Okay.
Quick
Yeah,
question.
uh,
How did you compensate for Sherry Gratitors, 2 in the front yard that are there?
No, I covered
She
it.
I spotted, I was so proud of myself, I spotted one deer and ended up being lawn sculpture. And spotted 2 more deer that ended up being horses. I'm a little green at this. But, Chuck, one of the things you mentioned, you gave a figure of 14 deer. Now, was that per square mile?
Yeah.
One of the reasons I was interested in this, doing a deer count this season, was to see if there's a hot spot. And unfortunately, the data we collected today, I don't know how much it's given us resolution on that. We counted no deer in Discover, no deer in what used to be Commerce Clearinghouse, no deer in Thorngate, and no deer in Ryerson.
I
In
thought
the
it was
north,
interesting.
in the North Ryerson, no deer in East Course. I think we found 1 deer in West Course. It's, if I were to have guessed, I would have guessed that maybe that we'd find fewer deer in those areas I just enumerated. There's weak evidence to indicate that that's what we found, but it's weak. It's not a convincing case yet.
Yeah, we really didn't get into, I don't recall the numbers that Ryerson called last year and what they called this year.
This year it was 3. Their population was so low that they only called 3 deer this year.
It was a big number last year, I thought.
I think it was 45 or
I
something.
thought it
Yeah,
was
yeah.
a pretty large number.
Yeah, it was a big number.
It was 42 and then 60-something the year before that.
Yeah, and I think one of the comments that Todd made, you can't tell the young males, but you can tell the male that have a good sized rack in them. And he thought that probably most of the deer you saw were females today. And I don't, did they say did they give what they